Welcome! We're back. I had a friend that was, he was big into YouTubing and Twitch streaming back in the day. And he had a friend that had a channel that always, he'd always redirect links and stuff to that channel. I don't always see like that, what do they call it? Like a channel trailer or something like that.
It's showtime.
That guy always started the channel trailer with, welcome! Such a weird way to say it. Anyway, it was a weird way to start this segment. We're getting back into another game here. We just finished up The Last of Us Part 2. It is showtime once again. We're getting into Final Fantasy XVI. This just came out. Technically yesterday. I thought it was a Friday release game, but I guess it was a Thursday one. So people were playing it on a midnight release last night. Apparently my friend has been playing it for like a good 6-7 hours or something like that. A couple people already beat it already. I don't even know how that's possible. Must have just been rushing through. Playing on the easiest difficulty setting. Oh man, it has been a long time since I've played a mainline Final Fantasy game. And that's just because it's been a while since they've released one. It's not like I've been avoiding them or anything. But Final Fantasy 15 came out... God, when was that? 2015, 2014? Maybe 2016, actually, then I think about it. I think it was actually after Phantom Pain, and Phantom Pain came out in 2015. I was, if I'm ever lost on a date, I just remember Metal Gear timelines and when those released. But yeah, it's been a hell of a long time since there's been a Final Fantasy game, so we're getting into this one. Brand new release. Don't know how long it's been in development for. I don't have all the scoop on the information for that kind of stuff, but I'm sure it'll be well produced. One of the developers was all bragging that, this game is not going to need a day one patch. And then first thing I see when I plug in the disc is there's a patch that needs to be installed. So I don't know. So how it goes. We're going to need the subtitles on. Wireless controller vibration is fine. Text language in English, voiceover. Now, normally, I guess I shouldn't say that. In a lot of cases, I'll play a game that originates from a particular country and that country's language. So if there's a Japanese game, I'll play it with a Japanese language. Apparently, with Final Fantasy 16, they did not do a lip sync for the Japanese dub. So I guess that's out of the question. If we want it to look okay. I have no clue what the English dub is going to be like, though, so we'll see how that goes. We definitely want to do frame rate over graphic performance, so that'll work for me. Visual alerts. I don't know. I don't know how intrusive or bothersome they may potentially be, so... Let's see. Begin the game equipped with several accessories, simplify gameplay, recommended for those players who are less comfortable with action games, wish to focus more on the game's story elements. It's like a difficulty setting of sorts. I like the difference between the two portraits. You can be the happy lad, or you can be the angry lad in a decaying and burning building. Begin the game with standard equipment recommended for players who are comfortable with action games. I'm comfortable with action games. Oh, okay. I figured I'd just have to, put the cursor over it. Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
It was Moss the Chronicler who said that the land of Valisthea is blessed in the light of the Mother Crystals. And that it was this light which finally led our forebears out of the darkness. Yet, what they saw in the light gave rise to temptation. Temptation that ever lures us back into the crystal shadow. And thus did our journey begin.
Oh my god. Is that Ifrit and Phoenix? Summons? I wonder what they're going to be called in this game. Eidolons? Actually, it looks more like a behemoth. was doing stuff. We can evade and we can attack. Yeah, I mean, when Final Fantasy series go way back, it was one of the first RPGs that I actually completed. So, I'm sure I've talked about some of the Final Fantasy games that I played in previous Final Fantasy games, but we can retread old territory, I suppose. But considering this is the beginning of the game, I don't know how much I'm going to talk. I tried to evade. Saw a lot in that fire there. Year of the Realm 873. The Nysa Defile. Something with like the Dalmoma Republic. I'm sure somebody will say whatever that word was. Ooh, I can feel his footsteps in the controller.
Both camps have begun to stir.
You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant.
No one else? Where's the fun in that? How do we even know the girl will be among them?
Our kind do not question orders. We follow them. Try to keep that in mind. Let's get this done.
Focus, Wyvern. You are key to this mission's success.
Yes, Sergeant.
Ooh, we're special.
I said focus, Wyvern.
That's what I've been trying to do. Thanks, Gabe. I know how to play video games. Main menu. What do I press to make the character
Don't have time
move?
for this. All hell is about to break loose.
Time to move.
Tilt left stick gently to walk. Full tilt to run. Ooh, we have a jump button too. Nice.
We're just in time.
Republican Army front lines.
way this is going, they won't need this new dominant of theirs. What?
To the gates! Quickly! Move!
What do you mean, you refuse? Did you not pledge your swords to our cause?
Come now. Marshal, the King of Waloed is our guest.
So morose. I wonder if this is pre-rendered or all real time. I think it's all real time. Neat trick.
I wonder that you summoned us at all. Have you so little faith in your own men? It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not? Or am I mistaken? Besides, your dominant has yet to take the field. And when he does, our knights would only get in the way.
Perhaps you have not heard, but the Ironblood now have their own dominant. We would be fools to underestimate them.
Bugger their knights.
What did you say?
Said bugger him.
Should this citadel be allowed to fall, the capital will lie exposed. And I doubt the Crusaders will wait for the good king's pawns to line up before taking to the board. Which just leaves me.
Hopka!
The Ironblood will rue the day they set foot on Storm. This game is over.
Oh, game's over. That was short. I don't know if it was worth $70, but it looks pretty slick.
You cock.
Excuse me?
Benedicta.
Take care.
Does the lion take care when he chases the hare? Or do you think me one of the latter?
No, my love. You are a lion. You're my lion.
I'm not afraid of a little frost,
My goodness.
Benedicta. But I will need someone to warm me when I come home.
I remember too many Final Fantasy games where people getting frisky right off the bat.
The front lines are gone. This is our chance. The chaos will conceal us.
Still don't know who any of these people are, what we're doing, what we can do, what our capabilities are. You know what? I don't need that, let's see, action focused. I don't need that. I don't need, like, the button prompts on the side. I don't think I could change that, though. Tutorial message. I want tutorial messages, because there might be something, like, completely off the wall that I'm gonna need, but, is there visual? I figured maybe the visual alerts got turned on or something like that. Doesn't seem to be, though. Oh well. We'll just keep it a nice, clean screen. Pull up the HUD when the action's happening.
And quick and deadly.
As always. Take the van.
Got a van out here?
Wait. Something's not right.
Oh. How did no one see that before? It's huge.
Titan.
I was gonna say, it looks like Titan.
So the Darmax finally grew tired of being slaughtered.
And look who's here to greet the bastard.
Shiva.
Come on.
They sending out the summons right from the get-go. How are those guys still there? Everyone really should just be moving away. Super speed.
You don't get to die here, Wyvern. Move!
Alright, hold on. I figured out something I want to change. That's weird that the master volume is down so low. I actually boosted it up on OBS. So let me, just so I don't have to change my OBS settings all the goddamn time. I'm going to knock the decibels down to -5. We'll bring this up to 100%. I am going to knock down the music a little bit, though, because it seems like the music's overpowering a lot of the other stuff going on, especially the voiceovers, which I think is a little bit weird. So we'll knock it down by 20%. I'm going to knock effects down by like 90. They're by 10%, but they seem to be pretty low. I think it's a little bit jarring. I don't know. Maybe that's part of playing between performance and what do they call it? Cinematic or whatever. Graphics, maybe. But it's like the cutscenes all have a frame rate of 30 frames from the looks of it, and then when you go to actual gameplay, the game speeds up. Some of the gameplay stuff looks like it's running at 120. It looks like really, really smooth. Stuck. But then it's like right when you get into a cutscene, you can tell that it's a cutscene because it goes back down to 30 frames.
just gonna stand there?
Boy, those rocks really do hate you. Oh, damn. We only knew BS for but a moment.
Wyvern! Wyvern!
I told you before, you do not get to die here.
I don't think I have much of a choice in the matter if rocks start flying at me. Blood or just Creed? Clive. I think it's the main character's name. Which may or may not be the person that we were playing as. I don't know. 13 summers earlier, Year of the Realm, 860. Rosalith.
Well, if you're not cut out to be a shield, there's always work for you in the stables. Unless, of course, you think you can defend your master while sat on your arse in a puddle of pig swill.
I'm sure he'd find a way. My brother always looks after me. Right?
Go on. You're sure to hit him eventually.
Don't give up now.
I think the one in the red is a boy. But then the girl sound has like a deeper voice. Or maybe the one in the white is a boy. I have no clue.
Will do to disappoint the gallery. Let's start again from the beginning. Come, show me your form.
I will show you my form. Press square to perform a melee attack. Will do. Thank you, Pre-Law. Appreciate it. Mr. Flipper. Still hanging about. Oh, gotta do it again.
Very good. Such swordsmanship will serve you well in the field. But can the same be said of your spellcraft? The flames of the Phoenix burn within you. Now let them burn without. Come, Clive. Rain fire down upon me.
Sounds so sarcastic. All right.
Keep them coming. Excellent. Well done. You wield the Firebird's flames just as a first shield should.
You flatter me, my lord.
Or would you rather I flattened you? Can be arranged.
Sounds kinky.
Let's see if you can elude my blade. After all, your attacking prowess will count for naught if you don't live long enough to use it. On your toes, Lord Rossfield.
I would prefer it if I could use the analog sticks to lock on. I don't know if I was holding it before, so I'm gonna have to see if I could just press to lock on, or if I'd actually need to hold it down. Press R1 to evade enemy attack. Evading at a precise moment wait, what? Evading an attack at the precise moment it is dealt will temporarily slow the enemy, making it more susceptible to counter. Typical action game stuff.
Don't simply watch my movements. Read them.
Whoa!
How did you dodge that? I was sure I had you.
That was amazing!
Never take your eyes off your enemy.
Not quite.
Good. Good. Remember, Clive, your blade is not your only weapon. Quickness of thought and fleetness of
They were
foot
shooting
are
flames at you.
indispensable arms
That's
in
my other
any
one.
shield's arsenal. But you are not just any shield, are you? Show me what sets you apart from the rest. You have been blessed by the Phoenix, granted the use of its power. Call upon that power now to close on me.
Okay.
Well, I'm waiting.
It seems like the summons have a pretty big part in this. We're seeing like that massive dude. I'm guessing since he was saying he wasn't afraid of a little frost or whatever. What do they call him though? Forget. Started with a D. Something. I don't know. I'm assuming that big dude turned into the Titan though. And from the very beginning of this game, when Clive was looking at the flame, there was the Phoenix versus, is it Behemoth or it might have been a different? I don't know. I think it was a Behemoth though. So people can turn into summons, maybe? I don't know. Might be going back to Final Fantasy VI territory. They kind of have like a human form and like a, the summon beast form or whatever. Iconic feasts. Is that what they're calling them these days? Blessing of the Phoenix grants Clive the ability to perform feats of inhuman strength and dexterity. Phoenix shifts is one such iconic feat. Press circle to swiftly close in distance on the target. Both melee and range attacks. Magic can be used while executing a Phoenix shift.
Good. Fly at your foe before he can raise his guard. Impressive. But even the most agile shield cannot hope to escape every blow. And death may come by a handful of cuts as easily as it comes by 1,000. There is only one way to ensure that you do not fall. Keep your wounds mended and your energies replenished. Speaking of which, my lord, you seem a little worse for wear. Now that won't do at all.
Mend your wounds. Consumable items such as potions and tonics can be used to restore Clive's HP or temporarily boost attributes. Consumables can be assigned to the D-pad, the items tab, main menu, quick convenient use. These items can also be used directly from the menu.
All right then.
That's better. Battle is a succession of pivotal moments, wherein life and death can be decided at a single stroke. You must be ready to utilize every tool at your disposal if you are to navigate a path to victory. Or at the very least, to ensure that you live to fight another day. Enough practice. It's time for the test. You've recovered from your soaking, I trust. You wouldn't want to kick a man while he's drowned.
I thought you'd never ask.
Come then, Lord Rosfield. Spar with me. If you believe yourself worthy to be called Shield of the Flame, then prove it.
Oh, I'm worthy.
As you wish, my lord.
Have at me, boy. Make proof of your strength.
Show all these peasants what's up. The will gauge indicates an opponent's will to fight back. Break their spirit by landing attacks and strike them while they're vulnerable.
Go on. You're sure
The
to
stamina
beat it
gauge,
this
I guess.
time.
You can do it, Clive. Just stay calm.
You think it was a block button?
Not quite. You're taking this seriously.
Keep going, Clive.
About to get ready to do something. Lord Murdoch's will has been broken, leaving him staggered. Try dealing as much damage as you can before he regains his senses. Use R2 and swear to execute Rising Flame, powerful iconic ability granted to Clive by the blessing of the Phoenix. Gotta recharge.
This time I took my own advice and used all the tools at my disposal.
Go
You're a damnably quick learner, Lord Russell.
There's the victory music.
He won! See? I told you he could do it!
Aye.
Bested at last. It's taken me long enough. That was a display worthy of your father. You are a true shield of the flame, and let no one tell you otherwise. Including me.
Why are you voice cracking so much?
Back to your drills.
Training a little too hard, I see.
Joshua, I was just tired. The Phoenix's flames are a gift. You mustn't waste them.
It isn't a waste. My shields look after me. Why shouldn't I?
That's why. You were coughing
Sickly
this morning,
child.
too. You shouldn't be outdoors.
I'll be fine. It's just a cold.
Don't push yourself.
His Grace has returned!
Father's back.
Hey,
People, there's something about the character design. I think they took more from the Final Fantasy XIV, and I always thought Final Fantasy XIV, like,
Please, this is no place for one such as
characters looked
I would
strange.
gladly brave hell itself to see my darling boy.
But it, like, seeped over into this
Gentlemen,
game. Everyone's got, like, this
Rosaria
weird cat
thanks you
face.
for your indefatigable loyalty.
Thank you, Your Grace. We live to serve.
And it looks, like, smaller than their head accommodates. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but everybody's got this
Joshua.
weird look. I don't think I like it.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this.
I'm sorry.
good day to you, Mother.
Feel that fist tightening.
Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
Can't look at her too directly.
Lord Murdoch?
Your Grace.
What a way to treat your own flesh and blood.
I know. It's not his fault. Not everyone can be born the Phoenix.
Sounds like a pretty sweet gig. Can you ever die?
We should join them.
Would you even need Phoenix down at that point, or can you just, like, manifest your own? So typically with Final Fantasy games, you usually have two different types of scenarios. You have the more medieval, high fantasy type, and then they always, every once in a while, seem to go for something a little bit futuristic or more contemporary. And look at that chocobo. Let's get a black chocobo. But I think I've always been more of a fan of the high fantasy type. And I feel like, especially with some of the later games, they felt like it's been, I don't know. They've tried so many weird things with the Final Fantasy series of late.
Welcome home, Father.
Thank you, Joshua. You are well, I trust.
Yes, Father. Much better. Today, June
Except
and
for
I
that
went
cough.
to the Bailey to watch Clive's spa.
Is that so?
Quiet, Torgal. Stop it, boy. Not now.
You'll make a fine hound one day.
Father.
Welcome back, Valkyria. How you doing?
Lift up your head, girl.
Played it, never finished it.
Thank you, Your Grace.
Dragon's Dogma, that is. What the hell got installed? Why did it take so long to get installed? Aren't we playing it?
The capital rejoices at your safe return, Your Grace.
War is coming, my boy. We must make ready.
Is the situation truly so grave?
Come to the throne room. We will talk there.
Yes, Father. Your Grace.
Shields dismissed.
Chest fist bump. Speaking of Dragon's Dogma, the intro, and it really wasn't even the same, but for some reason, I was getting like hints of Dragon's Dogma from the intro of this game.
Where do you think you're going, Clive here is off to see the Archduke.
Right.
But Dragon's Dogma is a fine game. Sort of excited about the sequel. There's a lot to do in that game, though. And sometimes I feel like when there's a lot to do, I tend to lose motivation just because there's too much. It's one of those games that has a bunch of like side quests that you could pick up, so I mean, it's the same story as me with the Elder Scrolls series. Outside of Morrowind, I don't think I've finished like a main story for any of the Elder Scrolls games. It's like too much to do, and I end up wandering off for a little bit, and I'll play it for a solid 20 hours, and I'm like, I'm good. I've done all I want.
Is trouble brewing?
I'm not sure. I need to speak with Father.
Let's get this
Finding items.
stuff unpacked before the Dutch
Potion out of that. I'm waiting for a little bit of gameplay to happen so that we could chat about this a bit, but it looks like there's still going to be some cutscenes, so never mind. Well, you're particularly talking about Skyrim, though, because every Elder Scrolls game will have something a little bit different.
Good as new.
Forgive me, Lord Marquess, pray do not concern yourself with this bungling cur.
What's that voice?
Bow to him, you fool. Don't I say to speak?
It was no trouble. Really.
Just dropped an
Oh,
apple.
do not indulge him. To be allowed to stand in your lordship's presence is more than his kind deserves. Why, neither the Empire nor the Republic treat their bearers half so well. He was lucky to be born in your father's dominion. Very lucky, as I remind him every day.
Stand, please.
Speaking of tropes, we got the young lordship
I trust
who's,
his good fortune will continue.
you know,
Of
doesn't look
course.
down on the commoner.
That is your lordship's wish.
Don't work too hard. Remember, it is for the good of the duchy that you serve.
So maybe
As
eat something
do
once
we
in a while.
all,
You look a
my
little
lord.
skinny.
As do we all.
Come along now. Back to your duties.
Don't look at me. I didn't say to look. Anyway, the Black Dragon and Valhalla thing. That specifically with Skyrim, though, I've watched a streamer play Skyrim, so I've seen the ending of that game. Never experienced it for myself, though. However,
Preparation is key. We must be ready to
Morrowind is one that the only one that I've finished, and I actually like that one quite a bit. I've always had the mind to go back and play through it again, but every time I start it back up, I'm like, I don't really want to do it. I'm not in the mood. It's funny too, because I've you know, modded the shit out of that game. I played it on PC, I got the Steam version, I think I got the GOG version. But every time I boot it up, I'm like, man, you know, I kind of miss playing it on the Xbox, because that's what I originally played it on. So maybe one of these days I'm just going to have to boot up the Xbox and play that particular version on console. Yeah, it's going to be vastly inferior to the PC version.
Shift this lot before we lose the light.
But, I don't know. Something about it makes me think that I might stick to it a little bit more.
Make sure all the
Maybe one of these days I'll stream it, but it just depends. Could end up being a long game. Tried to stream other Elder Scrolls games. Tried to stream Skyrim, because that's one of those games that I've had for ages, and I'm like, I gotta beat this one of these days. I know, I'll stream it. That'll keep me motivated. And I did maybe 3 streams of it and then dropped it again.
Supper.
I think someone's hungry.
But anyway, going back to Final Fantasy. I'll talk about Elder Scrolls for the past 10 minutes. Yeah, I've always been kind of more a fan of the high fantasy and the more medieval types. And, you know, every once in a while I'll dig some of the more contemporary ones. I think probably the shining example of that would be Final Fantasy VII. Since that one's kind of more futuristic and dystopian a bit. And I don't know, maybe that's just because of nostalgia. Or perhaps it's some other reason. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I still like that game quite a bit.
Nice and quiet in here, isn't it?
Bet your ass it is.
There's Joshua.
Marquis. Forgive my man, he'll be done in a jiffy. Just getting the place tidied up for the big procession.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Oh, they're using wind elements. Everybody's got their own little magic ability. It's kind of neat. See how they use it in like everyday life. I've seen them lighting cigarettes and pouring drinks. Magic seems to be fairly commonplace here. It's almost like, what's it? I'm thinking like Airbender. Because it seems like people tend to have a distinct element that they control, but I haven't yet to see anybody that can control more than one. This is not turn-based, this is action-based. When I saw the gameplay for this game, that's what attracted it to me the most, because when I saw the gameplay, I'm like, God, this looks like a Devil May Cry game. So very action-oriented. Apparently you can make it very easy with some of the easier difficulty levels, or just like the cinema mode or whatever, but I'm always in the mood for a good action game. And last action-based Final Fantasy game that I played was Stranger of Paradise, which I think is an excellent game. So far, I think the gameplay for Stranger of Paradise is better than this, but this still seems like it potentially could be fun. We gotta talk to this kid at some point, because I can't be talking about us all the time, but let's see what he has to say.
Clive,
Yes?
Are you worried about the war?
the soldiers will expect the Phoenix to help them, but I don't know if I can.
Don't worry, Joshua. Father will guide you. And I will protect you. Always.
I know. Thank you, Clive.
Is that it then? Alright. Anyway. With the Final Fantasy, the mainline Final Fantasy games, they've always seemed to be experimenting ever since Final Fantasy XII. And I like Final Fantasy XII a lot. It wasn't the most well-received back when it released. Some large games are stiff, require extra force to operate. Okay, whatever.
All other concerns.
We gotta press R2? Okay. Oh, but you have the haptic feedback with the controller. I have to push the not the analog stick, the R2, the trigger, a little bit harder than I normally would. The kid's definitely gonna die. He's already sickly. Here's hoping he pulls through. Apparently he's got the power of the Phoenix. You put that dog down, what are you doing? So, my question was, okay, they've got the Phoenix powers. Does that mean they can die? Can they just like regenerate or rejuvenate whenever? Or do they even need Phoenix Downs, which is a staple item in the series?
You commanded my presence, Your Grace. How may I serve you?
All right, you can stop licking my boots. Your mother isn't here.
Do the territories fare any better?
Most lie under a pall of black. In just these few moons, the Blight has taken nigh on all of the northern reaches. It is only a matter of time before it crosses the border.
By the flames.
Nearly every available bed in the capital is already occupied by those fleeing the Deadlands. Even if we were to send them south to Port Isolde, more would only follow in their wake. Every day we delay brings us closer to disaster. We must move now.
Against the Iron Kingdom.
We have traded blows with them for too long. It is time to end it.
At the very least, we must secure Drake's breath. Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
The Iron Blood will not relinquish it easily. This will be a bitter fight.
We ride for Phoenix Gate tomorrow. There we will listen to the words of our ancestors, as tradition dictates.
Am I to go with you as Joshua's shield?
There is something else I would have you do first. Rodney.
I'd be surprised if they'd let that kid outside the castle. They already didn't want him outdoors.
I'm sure, of beastmen from the north being sighted within our borders.
Goblins in the Stillwind Marshes. I know of the rumors, yes.
Then you know what must be done.
Goblins.
I'll give you 2 good men. While we ride north tomorrow, you will journey to Stillwind, search it, and clear it. Then you will join us at Phoenix Gate.
Come, lad.
It is time to prove your strength. And shut your mother up for good.
I will do my duty, Your Grace.
And shut her up good.
That will be all. Rest well. We ride at dawn.
Yes, Your Grace.
Okay then. Active time lore. Hold the trackpad. Access active time lore ATL feature. A compilation of important information relevant to Clive's current storyline progression. ATL can be viewed during most cutscenes. Or can even be viewed during most cutscenes. All ATL entries can be accessed later in the game. I sure hope that they're not going to put crucial story elements inside that. That was one of my biggest complaints about Final Fantasy XIII. There's a little bit of information on where we are, some of these people. I guess it probably is important. God damn it. The Grand Duchy of Rosaria, a nation occupying the western reaches of the continent of Storm, with Rosalith as its capital. Rosaria was originally formed from a collection of smaller dominions, all of which now stand united under a banner of the Archduke Elwyn Rosfield. Not possessing a mother crystal of its own, the duchy has long been locked in bitter conflict with the Iron Kingdom over possession of Drake's Breath, which lies still further to the west, in the midst of the boiling sea. Alright, well, we're sort of getting, most of the stuff is just kind of building up the lore and setting up the story, so it's probably going to be a long time coming anyway, but it'd probably be good if we get familiar with this kind of stuff. So we have this Grand Duchy of Rosaria. Apparently the crystals have the power to ward off the blight of some kind. And since they don't have one, they got to go grab one from this Iron Kingdom, which probably ain't such a great idea, but we'll see. The Mother Crystals, enormous glassy mountains, 5 of which tower over the lands of Valisthea. They are the source of all the crystals that the people of the Twins rely on in their everyday lives. Not only that, but the lands surrounding them are rich with aether, making the magics the crystals cast even more potent. For these reasons, great nations have sprung up around each mother crystal and have long warred with each other for possession of their blessings. Alright, so the source of magic. I guess if you're near a big one, then they give you additional magic. Crystals have always had, well, usually. There's a few Final Fantasies where they've got jack shit to do with anything, but typically, especially with the earlier games, they tend to be big in terms of the story elements. They're either, used as a source of power or used as like some sort of MacGuffin or end goal for the game, or, they serve a purpose of like a wish granter. Remember for a long string of games, trying to think, maybe it wasn't that long. Were there crystals in 6? I don't remember. They definitely didn't have one in 7. I don't think they had one in 8. But it's like you look at the back cover of Final Fantasy IX, and like the first thing you see on there are the crystals are back. And I remember that was my first Final Fantasy game that I played. And what the hell are the crystals? I was always under the impression that all the Final Fantasy games were not connected, and they typically aren't unless they have a dash and a numerical value behind it. But the crystals kind of have like a long history in these games, so I guess they're kind of going back to that. They kind of skipped out on it. I don't think there was anything really crystal related in 15. 13, I guess, depending on how you look at it, but I don't think that really had anything to do with crystals either. It had to do with that Lassie and the Sieth or whatever. But those were like beings. They kind of looked crystallish, but I guess it wasn't really a crystal of sorts. So it seems like we're stepping back into that kind of territory. Let's read about the Iron Kingdom, also known as in the local tongue as Haran. The Iron Kingdom is an archipelago nation situated off the west coast of Storm. Its capital at Krieg Lozte. I can tell some of these words ain't going to work well with me. The Mother Crystal Drake's Breath rises from a volcanic island situated just within or without its borders, depending on whom you ask, and has been the subject of a long-standing conflict between the Iron Blood and the neighboring Duchy of Rosaria. The Iron Kingdom's inhabitants shun any contact with outsiders, which has given rise to a unique, if largely inward-looking culture. We're probably good on the rest of it. I'm sure we can figure out the characterizations and stuff about this castle in due time. Looks like we gotta go upstairs. There's a staircase over here. But it also seems like this game having a lot to do with the summons as well. And I can't think of... Well, let me think. Summons are always part of the Final Fantasy games, but sometimes they have harder story elements than most. Sometimes they're like deeply intertwined with the story, and sometimes they're just used as like, an attack, basically. Well, Final Fantasy 15, it was kind of a mix. I think one of the characters ended up becoming a summon, but it wasn't really touched upon all that much. They used some summon powers throughout, but I don't know how hard into the story it was.
How long will you be away this time?
Not long. 4 days, maybe 5.
And you will be taking Joshua?
Well, I can't exactly leave him behind, can I? The blood of the Rosfields runs in his veins. Before going to war, we perform the rite at Phoenix Gate. It's our way. You know that. And only the dominant can enter the apothecary, so yes, I'm taking Joshua.
Oh, to hell with your way.
That's the word I was searching for.
The boy is ill.
You think I don't know that? But the boy is also the Phoenix. The heir to the throne. You can't keep him in swaddling clothes all of his life.
Elwyn!
Don't worry. Clive will watch over him. Though he is a youth of but 15 years, he's already a fine soldier. He will make a splendid shield.
You see more in him than the Phoenix did. He was rejected, Elwyn. Our household has no place for such a failure. He is worthless, a man like any other.
As am I, my dear.
Nonsense. You are the Archduke of Rosaria.
Oh, not this again. You know as well as I do that I only sit upon the throne because my father was taken before his time. I am merely warming the seat till Joshua comes of age.
You are your father's firstborn son, and you sit upon the throne.
God, why is everyone getting so frisky in this
Always
game?
in its right place. Unlike some, you have not disgraced our noble blood.
Without men like Clive to keep us safe, your precious noble blood would long since have graced the gutter.
This game is horny.
We have an early start.
Okay.
I'm going to sleep.
No time for sex. I don't trust her. She seems a little spiteful. Imagine if the kid dies, turns out he's not the Phoenix at all. So the protagonist gets to be full of revenge because of saying that it's fault.
This is it then. Time to prove yourself.
I hope we're not divulging any spoilers here. Who knows? The Joshua, the kid, does have powers, though. We've seen him be able to manifest something.
Right.
And in the prologue for this game, Clive seems to have some form of ability.
You're going with them tomorrow, aren't you?
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him. He takes too many risks. I only wish I could save him from himself.
Clive, you...
I have another mission too. Father has given me my first command.
Well, if you're not going to pray to Metia for your safe return, I shall just have to do it for you.
Okay. Oh, the moon.
There's going to be another war, isn't there? Since coming here, I've begun to take peace for granted. I assumed the war between our nations would be the last. But it never really ends, does it?
No. The next war will be bigger than before.
And badder than ever.
You'll be all right, won't you, Clive? You're a shield of Rosaria, after all, and blessed by the Phoenix.
Got a point there. It never ends. We're already on the 16th installment. It will never be the Final Fantasy. Just the never-ending fantasy.
We should go in. My lady.
Good night, Clive.
Kind of wish there was a little color grading here. Up that contrast a little bit, luminosity, give everything a nice blue sheen. Oh, that's just me.
Sorry, Ambrosia. I won't be hunting today.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll do brilliantly.
I'll try.
Good luck!
Bringing out the big horns.
Friends,
We ride for Phoenix Gate. May the blessing of the crystals go with us and shield the Firebird's flame forevermore!
His Grace departs! Open the gates!
When's it gonna be the Final Fantasy? It's when Square makes more than 3 failures in a row.
Lord Rossfield.
Is that the limit that they're at? They've had some bombs.
To Phoenix Gate.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I don't think Stranger Paradise did all that well. Even though I love that game. Well, I guess you gentlemen are accompanying me.
We're ready to depart, my lord.
It's not the voice I expected.
May I say what an honor it is to serve alongside you?
Got that Brotherhood arm. Can you guys come down a little
This is
bit?
to be no mere investigation.
Like a foot taller, it's intimidating.
If there are goblins in Stillwind, they won't leave willingly. The Beastmen are a fierce foe. We underestimate them at our peril.
Not today, we won't.
So
It's
wait.
like a footman from Warcraft.
Tyler,
A little bit,
let
yeah.
us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
As you command.
That kind of sounded. With pleasure, my
To the
lord.
marshes, then.
So just imagine releasing a game called, for real this time,
May the
Final
blessing of the
Fantasy.
crystals go with us.
It's their last ditch effort. You know, the reason they called it the Final Fantasy was because that was literally their last ditch effort for a game. It was like they put it all on Final Fantasy, and if Final Fantasy was not a hit, they Square Soft, or was it just Square at the time? I don't know. They would have gone bankrupt basically, but ended up being a hit, and here we are, 16 games later. Let's go kill those goblins. Oh, I hate goblins. Stillwind, the Grand Duchy of Rosaria. What is Clive dressed like? A suave, like swashbuckler, and then like the regular armor.
Keep your eyes open for those goblins.
It's like wife
The
beaters.
reports placed them in this area.
It's all swamps from here. Watch your step, my lord.
And everything else.
Lost in a fog. Kind of interesting that they have like a map like that. I don't know that I was expecting that. Sort of thinking this game would be a little bit more free to roam, but I suppose that's fine. Timely accessories. Feeling overwhelmed? Try equipping one or more of the 5 timely accessories. For example, the Ring of Timely Strikes allows the wearer to chain complex attack combos only using square. The Ring of Timely Focus slows time before an incoming attack, allowing for an extended evasion window. As with all items, timely accessories can be equipped and unequipped on Gear tab in the main menu. I think those are just to make the game easier for people that aren't quite accustomed to action games.
Not exactly the most
I've heard
well-maintained
people
path.
dissing
But who
on
do you
those that
imagine
equip the
would maintain
rings.
it?
Easy mode rings, exactly.
All fled
It's kind
from
of
Blight.
what it sounds like to me.
Hard to believe that anyone used to live here.
The old village of Stillwind is ahead.
Oh.
Not that there's a lot left of it.
As pathfinding, like, freaked out for a second there. Oh. Just jump up like this, or maybe not. Sounds like Donald Duck out there. It's actually a Kingdom Hearts game, we just didn't know it. Alright, lads, you step in there. Keep going.
With me.
Goblins, I've come for your heads. Magic burst. Use triangle up to strike an opponent with square to conjure magic explosion that deals significant will damage.
Forevermore.
Whoa. Simple enough.
So the reports were true.
We should press on. There may be more ahead.
I'm keeping an ear open for the soundtrack because, God, I cannot remember anything about the soundtrack for Final Fantasy XV. I don't think it was that remarkable. One of the things I was going to talk about was the experiences I've had with the most recent of the mainline Final Fantasy games. I was talking about 12. I love 12. 12 was not received very well at the time of its release. I remember a lot of people saying how shit it was and how they didn't like the gameplay. And it's like, I had just gotten into, I think, Knights of the Old Republic, and I liked that sort of action. So we can't get up there. That sort of like action RPG type deal that BioWare was doing at the time. And I thought it was kind of cool, you know, to have a Final Fantasy game that was sort of set up like that. And then they made it better with the, I forget what they're called, but they're like the, you know, the prompt shortcuts or whatever. It's like, if, you know, this action takes place, then this action automatically happens. So it was kind of cool. Gambits, I think they were called. You can set up all these gambits, and, you know, you can ease up the gameplay where it's a little out of your hands if you take the time to actually set it up that way, or, you know, concentrate on other things and leave healing up to automatic responses. So it was sort of a unique kind of look.
Welcome to Stillwind.
At the action RPG that was sort of budding at that time. But yeah, people didn't like it all that much, unfortunately. I still love it. I love the voice acting in that game. Soundtrack was okay. I think it was the first major Final Fantasy game that did not have Nobuo Uematsu for the composer, though, and you can definitely tell because it wasn't quite as thematic. Some enemies will drop gil or items upon their defeat. Yes, I've played video games before. I'm aware of this concept. But anyway, still, soundtrack wasn't bad. Final Fantasy XIII comes around. I mentioned it before. I feel like we were talking about Final Fantasy XIII relatively recently, but the soundtrack is like the star of that game. The soundtrack of that game is really, really good. And it's not an Uematsu composition. It's, I don't know who made it, but whatever it was, I didn't even recognize it while I was playing the actual game itself, but listening to that soundtrack, I don't remember how. I think I had downloaded it off of some weird website or something. Let's not talk about that. But I had gotten all 4 discs of that soundtrack, and I remember just listening to it while playing other games or doing something, and just kind of being astounded, like, wow, this soundtrack is actually not bad. The game itself, not so much. It's not that great of a game, at least in my opinion. I've yet to meet someone that says they absolutely love Final Fantasy XIII. It's always like, it's all right, or, ooh, that one wasn't great. And I'm more of the latter, where I'm on the, ooh. I've always stated, though, one of these days I'm going to have to stream it. At some point, I would like to stream all the Final Fantasy games. They take so goddamn long to get through. But I've done, what have we done? 7, 9, 10? So, it's funny, actually, when Final Fantasy 15 had first come out, I think I had the intention of actually playing through the entirety of that game. I had streamed it the first day it came out. Taking a look at some of my old stream logs. I never uploaded those, but they're still on my external drive. So I had played it when it first came out, and then I think I subsequently played it like an additional 3 times or something like that, but we never made too much progress. I think I had gotten kind of towards the end of the game and done some of the final bits on the stream, but not the very ending of it. I'm actually kind of surprised I beat that game. To date. I have beaten every Final Fantasy game since 6. Actually, since 5. I've done 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, and 15. The woman protagonist, that was, I mean, if you consider it so, you could think of Final Fantasy VI with Terra. But if you're thinking of more modern Final Fantasy games, that would be 13 with Lightning. Which was the one I was talking about, which wasn't really all that great. So I'm kind of dicking around here. I'm not playing all that great, but... Which was it any good? Which one? 6 or 13? 13 was the one I was saying is not that wonderful. I don't like that game. 6 is a great game, though. Final Fantasy VI is one of the all-time classics. In the US, and I think North America in general, it was released on the Super Nintendo as Final Fantasy III, when it was actually the 6th installment. '13 had a lot of problems. We were just talking about the characterizations for Last of Us 2 and how they weren't strong, comparatively speaking, to the first Last of Us, and how I didn't really care about any of the characters. Well, it was the same thing with Final Fantasy 13, except to an extreme. I really didn't care for any of the characters in that game. In fact, I hated most of them. I feel like they were trying to push Lightning to be a little bit too, strong. And I feel like, some of the other characters, like Hope, was very annoying. Snow was way too laid back and oblivious to the point where he started to get annoying. And then Fang and Vanille were like,
We should be nearing.
I think it was Vanille. Vanille was 13. He's a little bit too bubbly, and then Fang was kind of interesting, but not my favorite. But the pacing of that game, I think, is the real killer for it. Boy, does it have some pacing problems. I'll talk about it in a sec. Seems like something's happening. Got some magic, do you?
Sneaky sods. We're trapped.
My lord, I'm working on it. He's the leader. But we'll have to take care of his followers first.
Care to thin the herd? As if you have to ask.
Look at play some Final Fantasies. I mean, I could make suggestions, but it really kind of depends on the type of gameplay that you like. If you like turn-based Final Fantasies, there's a lot of good ones out there. Because that's what the majority of the games are. But as I was trying to get into earlier, ever since Final Fantasy XII, Square has been trying to take the series into a lot of different directions. I feel like with the games of late, they've always tried to experiment with the Final Fantasy formula to make something that appeals to a broader audience than what they've been getting. But in doing so, they appeal to no one because they alienate, the old fan base, but then they don't make the gameplay interesting enough to a new fan base, so it doesn't attract anybody.
He's invited a friend! On your feet, Sir Wade.
Big one.
Here it comes!
Find it easier to play games, play as a girl, just feel easier to connect, but not a golden rule. I got you. Well, I mean, there are plenty of Final Fantasy games that have primary female antagonists, and the thing about most Final Fantasy games is they're ensemble casts. I mean, you can consider, God, a lot of them, because it's usually just like a primary male and then a primary female protagonist. It kind of switches between, and then the fact that a lot of them are turn-based games, they're party-based gameplay systems. So you're always with the ensemble cast, as I said. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, God, there's so many. Like, I'm trying to think of which game wouldn't have like a female protagonist. Probably the first one, the second one, third one, and 4. But once you get to 5, it's like you have Ferris and old what's her face, and they're primary protagonists in there, and then you get to 6, and Terra is a big protagonist in that game. Most of the stuff in the game, most of the plot and story elements are about her. You get to 7. I guess 7 is kind of more in the range of Cloud, so that one's probably more skews towards the male side. But past 7, you get to 8. Renoa has a huge part to play in Final Fantasy VIII. Most of the story is about her, and a little bit about Squall, and well, I'd say a little bit, but it's primarily about him and the rest of the group, because they're all, well, I don't want to spoil anything. You get to 9. Princess Garnet is a big player in that. Final Fantasy X, Yuna is a huge role. She's the one that ends up being the key to saving the world, basically. Final Fantasy 12, you've got, I can't remember her name, Princess Ash. Ash was her name. A lot of the story's about Ash. It's her kingdom that she's trying to build up a rebellion for. And, the other sidelining characters that kind of come in as support just end up being built up as main characters. But a lot of the primary cause for the story in that game is for Ash. You get to 13, and, Lightning is the one that's on the cover and everything, so you kind of consider it her game. And then 15 is like the one that's like the all-male cast, like all party members are male. And it's got a bit to do with his fiance, kind of Luna Freya was her name, but she's not like a party member or anything. But yeah, so many of the Final Fantasy games actually have girls in the cast where they actually are primary influences on the story. So plenty to go around. If I were to recommend one to play as a starter, I would probably recommend Final Fantasy IX or Final Fantasy X. Both turn-based. I mean, again, it just kind of depends on your preferences. Enemies become partially staggered when their will gauge is reduced 50%, creating a short opening in which combination attacks are easily landed. We have that special Rise of the Flame. Yeah, nice.
More than that, eh?
For those games, the stories are easy to follow. I think the characters are great in both those games, and the gameplay is not overly complicated. I love the magic system in Final Fantasy IX, and I think the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X is also an interesting gameplay mechanic. And I feel like the stories in those games are concise enough. They're going to be longer since they're RPGs, but they're concise enough and, like I said, easy enough to follow that I don't think it's going to be an issue, like, getting into those games. Whereas, like, a Final Fantasy VIII, I probably would not recommend. Even, like, a Final Fantasy VI, sometimes those can be a little bit much to get into. Final Fantasy VII is a great game, but I think it's got kind of a slow build-up. It's like things start to come to a head once you exit Midgar, and then it kind of like slows down, and then things pick up again, but it takes a little bit to get into it. So. Anyway, I was talking about Final Fantasy XIII though, and it's like that one, like I said, had major pacing problems. One of the biggest issues with it was the game starts off so strong, and kind of like with this game, well, I don't even know if strong is a good word for it, but it starts off like shot out of a cannon. And everything is like, go here, getting chased, escape there, and you get all these people coming after you, and it's like this big to-do. And then you get to the segment of the game that's kind of a bit of a more open world type aspect, and the pacing of the game just comes to an immediate dead halt. And it's a shame too, because it's like things feel like they're building up until that point, and then once you reach that open world part, that game is the gameplay is just so boring, And it's like, okay, this is the part where you're supposed to grind. And that's the idea behind it. You're just supposed to do menial tasks to level up your characters so that you can do the final leg of the game, which is linear. It was just a mess. It was a mess of a gameplay decision. I did not enjoy it. But the story and everything wasn't that great in that game anyway, so. The hell are you looking at?
Come back and fight, you coward! After him, before he summons the rest.
You can significantly improve player attributes, but only when equipped via the gear tab in the main menu. Similarly, the right abilities can turn the tide of battle, but only if learned and mastered via the abilities tab in the main menu. Mastering existing abilities as well as learning new ones requires ability points, which are earned in battle by completing quests. You don't say. Well, I don't know that I have any new gear. Did I get something? Got some hard leather armlets. Playing Persona grinding just for the awesome music. Yeah, I mean, music is nice and everything, but I do enjoy a good soundtrack as well, but yeah, it's going to take a lot for me to... I mean, I've said it before, I do not mind grinding in a game. You know, I could sit down for hours at a time and just grind levels and stuff, but you know, I feel like the best games sort of incorporate it or allow you to do something story-wise in the meantime. With Final Fantasy XIII, you have no choice. It's like, you must grind. This is the part of the game where you must grind now. And it's like, normally in an RPG, it's an option. It's like, I could choose to go over here and grind if I want, you know, get these levels up. Or I could just continue the story. With Final Fantasy XIII, you have no choice. It's like, okay, this is the boring part of the story where you're just supposed to grind. Actually, it's not even story, but you have to do it for like 10 hours. It's nuts. I've never played a game like that before. And I hope I never play another one.
This ends now.
They're so domineering against the goblin. This ends now.
What's in there?
Oh, Marlboro.
Bloody hell! A warble.
What the hell do you call it? Warble? That's not how it's spelled or pronounced.
It's war, my lord. That thing's breath is worse than its bite.
Literally. Oh, it's got back attacks. Shit. I'm slightly disappointed. The composition of this song sounds fine, but it does sound like they're using a synth orchestra, which in this day and age, you can make synth orchestras sound great. You can make them sound like actual instruments. And this sounds so much like that weird tinny sound from like the early mid 2000s. Oh yeah, the game looks great. I'm enjoying the gameplay too. It's a shame that I'm talking so much because I can't actually focus. So my performance is probably suffering. If I was playing this on my own time without actually streaming, I'd probably be doing a lot better. But, you know, I feel the need to converse. But so far the gameplay is pretty good. Not as good as Stranger in Paradise, but I feel in terms of like the action-oriented stuff that they tried to do of late, it's better than Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game was weird. On the one hand, I like some of it, and I like the recreation of a lot of the Final Fantasy VII core story elements, but like the weird sidetracking, and then like, oh shit. Weird sidetracking on the story. And then just like the gameplay in general was odd. Cinematic strike. When screen flashes blue like this, during a pivotal moment of battle, press square before time runs out to deliver a devastating blow. Huh. It's kind of like getting a limit break.
us!
Gotta get behind it. I feel like it's a little bit safer. Dodge the first one. Still haven't gotten hit by that bad breath. Hey, thanks for that sub. I appreciate that, Valkyria. Oh, shoot. Thank you very much. Oh, that was a stagger. Well, that was a half stagger. Not this time. I don't know what it's doing, but I don't want to be near it.
You won't be gone for long.
There's too much I can do. I just gotta wait for the prompt, maybe. Oh, cinematic evasion. Okay, so we got two different types of cinematic things.
Now for the final push, my lord.
At least the first time around, they give you plenty of time to do it. Hey, thank you, Akiri. I appreciate it. You have a good night. Appreciate the alerts. Big old fart cloud. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I think we've made it angry. I'd rather we made it die.
You guys getting a little too into it. Whoa! Almost. Wait. Oh, wrong button. I was pressing circle to evade. That's the one to close the gap. And I just dodged into that. Good going. By some miracle, I dodged like 3 of the bad breath attacks, but still got hit by the last one. I don't think I got poisoned though. Is mine helping? Get a couple more hits in there. They're just like wandering around. Get back. Fart cloud's coming out. It's almost considered like, given that his element is fire, that bad breath stuff would be able to ignite. Alright, not bad. Could have been better. But we're still kind of in the tutorial phase, I feel. So, that one's probably a gimme. Now, what the hell do they call this thing? Because they sure as hell didn't say Marlboro.
My lord. Thanks.
Use a refresher.
I thought I'd see it. Not just goblins in Rosaria,
Morble.
but Morbles too.
I'll petition His Grace to send a detachment.
It's like they've taken Marlborough and they've compacted the name.
If we don't stop them here, they'll be at our gates before long.
We should get moving. We don't want to be caught out here after dark.
If we set off now, we can still reach Phoenix Gate before nightfall.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Damned Blight.
Oh. That what's causing all this. Alright, time for the Phoenix Gate. I get the feeling like, I don't know, they've been doing the setups. It seems like our king, father, friend probably isn't going to be sticking around the story too long. That'd be my guess. Aging seaboard citadel not only defends Rosaria from northern raiding parties, but also serves sacred ground where, upon the duchy's dominant, might commune with his or her ancestors and entreat their guidance on the eve of important battles. Interesting. Sometime later. No precise amount.
Suddenly, thousands of red eyes. No, wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear this. His lordship draws his sword. The goblin chief runs off screaming. Straight down on Morbal's gullet.
Yeah, it got worse.
More tales! Drink and be merry, boys! Good work on the morrow. Must be gratifying to see your student making such a name for himself. The young lord has a bright future ahead of him.
Aye, and one of these nights he may even deign to join us.
Damn, look at all those spices. Getting a spicy meal. Oh no, the soldiers are drunk.
Are you unwell?
No, Father. Just a little tired.
Well, it has been a long day.
They all like Clive, don't they?
Aye. Your brother will be a fine shield. We're all very proud of him.
They keep saying that.
Father? Why is it that the dominance is always born into our family? It doesn't seem fair.
We cannot live without the blessing of the crystals.
Was that medical?
Crystals work their magic through us. You have been blessed, Joshua. Blessed to be a dominant, to wield the power of an icon. Our family has been chosen to share that power with the people. So that is what we must do.
Follow me, boy, on the rolling green meadows. Follow the flame.
I don't know what's going to happen here, but I get the feeling like we're going to hit up some story plot elements pretty soon here. We're on the eve of a big battle. They're going to pray or something at some shrine, as tradition dictates. So we'll see. There might be something coming up here. So, you know, it might be some spoilers or something happens. I'm not too sure. So far, so good, though. I've been enjoying it. The story seems very dense There's a lot going on, so there's a lot of lore. They even give you an active time lore, which you can pull up at any point, and you can pull it up during the cutscenes. Like, you know, if you ever have a question, like, what the hell's going on here? Who are these people? What is Joshua Rosfield? Well, he's the second son of the Archduke of Rosaria. So there you go. Or whatever. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot going on. There's a lot to this world. And so far, like, a lot of the opening game has just kind of been setting up the pieces. And probably see some bigger story elements once we get into wartime, which they are apparently prepping for. The prologue of this game takes place sometime in the future. Not the distant future, but the future of these characters. So our main character, Clive, is a little younger at this point in time that I'm playing. Prologue, he's a bit older. So there's a bit of time jumping around, but so far, so good. I'm enjoying the gameplay of it. I'm thinking it'll get a little bit more detailed once we start battling some different enemies and getting some new abilities. The gameplay's not as good as Stranger of Paradise, but it's pretty good for a Final Fantasy action-based game. I feel like they've been trying to move kind of towards the action-based style for a while now, and they never quite got it right. But this one just might. It's seeming like it's a good start. But yeah, lots of stuff going with the story and the lore. Quite a bit. So I just hope it doesn't get too confusing. Or that what do they call it, the active time lore thing? That this doesn't end up being a crutch to, circumvent story elements like they did in Final Fantasy XIII. It's like, who the hell are you? What's going on here? Well, you should have read up on it in the glossary. Nah, I'm good on that. Show me in a cutscene. I don't mind sitting through them as long as you explain to me what's going on. I ain't reading stuff. Except when I do.
Louder, my friends! Louder!
Oh. Joshua doesn't want to be here. He wants to be at home playing with his puppy. Men are drunkenly carrying on.
Poor Jill. She'll be wondering where you've got to.
Oh, took the dog.
So much for you being a fine hound.
You say that, but I don't think so. And the reason I say I don't think so is because...
So this is where you've been hiding?
He's on the cover.
What are you doing out here?
I didn't see you at the feast.
Feasts are the only time shields are allowed to take their ease, and I've never really been one for cakes and ale.
It's the vegetables I don't like.
But the kid's fine with the cakes and the ale, though. Especially the ale. I'm thinking there's still going to be plenty of cliches in this game, so we'll see.
All the men were singing your praises.
They never used to. When I joined the ranks, everyone thought I was a spoiled little lordling. If I didn't know how to handle a sword, I'd be a laughingstock. The Archduke's firstborn failure. You're the one they really believe in. I'm jealous.
That's not true. They don't believe in me. They believe in the power of the dominant.
My brother the Phoenix, ruler over life and death.
It isn't fair. It should have been you. I don't have what it takes to lead our people. I don't have the strength. But you do.
Shush.
Every man has his duty.
Shut up.
Ours was decided long ago. when our ancestors chose to instate the dominant as the Archduke of Rosaria. All to ensure that whenever our nation stood on a precipice, the Phoenix would rise from the flames to drag us back from the brink. The fate of Rosaria sits on the dominant's shoulders. It is your duty to bear that burden.
What about you?
I was born to be your shield. That is why I was given the Phoenix's blessing. To keep our future rulers safe. No matter what. However hard it gets. I'll never let you down.
Thank you, Clive. I know you'll always take care of me.
Kid needs therapy. Needs a doctor, too.
Before I can do that,
he's all depressed. He's only like 9 years old.
All right?
I should go inside. It's past my bedtime. Good night, Torgal.
Good night, Torgal. Maybe so. Of course, they seem to be ruling in a monarchy. But I'm not sure what their tax policies are or anything. Better not be some kind of Trojan.
Supplies from the capital.
Also, they've got 2 guards at the front gates.
You took your
Yeah, it
time
looks all right.
shopping the
He
wares,
didn't even
were
look
ya?
inside. Come on now.
It's a good job the North is full of enterprising traders keen to keep us in wine.
Spare a barrel for the boys on PPA?
Okay. Oops. These guys are too trusting. Oh, I see. Monarchies are just capitalism to the kings and queens and stuff. You must have a Harvard degree. Even the chocobos is 2 guys in a costume. I've seen that one. Actually, you don't even need 2 guys. It's just a pair of legs.
Gateway secured, Captain.
We proceed as planned.
That guy looks like he means business. I knew something wasn't right. Strange things afoot. Alright, no need to be a show-off. Why even light the candle? Why not just hold your finger out?
Is that...
Yeah, this kid was sleeping with his boots on.
Forgive me, my prince. It's me, Wade. You probably don't remember me.
I remember. What is it?
We're under attack. I don't know who they are, but they've set light to half the castle. I must get you to safety, Your Highness.
Very well. I'm ready.
If you must.
Follow me, Your Highness.
I get to play as Joshua. Flight of the Fledgling. See, that... Okay. Now he's being a show-off. I was like, why even light the candle? He could probably just hold his hand out. He doesn't even need to do that. He just creates a fire orb that levitates above him.
Already inside the castle.
I'm afraid so, Your Highness. We must hurry.
Okay, unfortunately, Joshua doesn't feel like moving any faster than this. Again, it's like, why even... You don't need a torch, you don't need a candle. You've got a flaming orb. And who knows, maybe in emergencies you could fling it at an enemy.
I have to help them. Everything's on fire.
Fall back, Your Highness! He's not one of us!
No.
He did say that half the castle was satellite. He's a powerful magic user, though. Unless that, whatever the hell that was, is just very weak.
I saw them at the feast. They were laughing.
This is Sambra Quargarb. But why would the Empire...
We must find my father.
It's just like the wizards you make in D&D, only fireball. Well, what more could you need? Fire, the king of all magics.
Stay behind. Take him.
The only thing is that he seems to have a bit of a recovery time after casting a spell.
Damn it, the bastards are everywhere.
Why would the Empire do this? They're our allies.
Let's see what's down here. More fire. I guess item pickups are clearly identifiable, though, considering they're like super light and blue. Only fireball, just like your wizards. He apparently has an attack. He's got a sword. Oh, his attack is a flame attack.
Vigilance, Your Highness.
Oh, that's cool. Fire, fire, fire. Some Beavis and Butthead sound bites.
Tyler!
Oh no, the other guy. Tyler, I guess.
Damn it! His wounds are deep.
I can save him.
Your Highness,
Don't worry. You're going to be all right.
I'll hold them off.
But then he's gonna get injured, and then he's gonna need healing. Oh. Careful.
Clive!
Joshua! Come here.
Come here as I run towards you.
Tyler, you're hurt.
I'll survive, thanks to His Highness.
And as long as the building doesn't collapse on you.
Lord Murdoch!
You rescued the young prince. Well done, Sir Wade.
I am in your debt, soldier.
Thank you, Your Grace.
What did I say about that building collapsing?
Stay here. We should make straight for the rear gate.
Omia lost Alan, Tuisa Gelif. May the winds speed you to Rosalith.
Damn, okay. Murdoch is a demon name. Actually, no. Not too familiar with
The
demons.
north gate's up ahead. There are chocobos in the stables. Father, take Joshua and get to safety.
I think it's like an English
I'm not going without
name,
you.
though.
You're supposed to be my shield, remember?
I remember, which is why I'm going to hold the enemy here while you make your escape.
I will order our remaining forces to rally.
I remember, which is why I'm not going to do it. Unless you're Captain America, you ain't throwing your shield out to the enemies. Usually you want to keep it close by.
I know.
You have to keep Father safe. I'm counting on you, Joshua.
They do that weird little chest bump thing. I guess it kind of reminds me of Jack from Stranger in Paradise. So I think it's funny. A lot of touching in this game, like bro stuff. Well, they are literally brothers, so I think it's appropriate in those cases. But yeah, like the weird bro fist to the chest, I think is a funny one. It doesn't quite fit the high fantasy demeanor. So it always just looks kind of out of place, which is also why it reminds me of A Stranger in Paradise, because that kind of stuff was also like out of place, but intentionally so, because they were like literally people that were not supposed to belong to that world. What the hell? Stop casting magic on me. Shit, I took out 2 with 1 hit.
We're too late. Everyone's dead.
Well, at least Joshua and the king survived.
Damn it all.
Oh, I didn't know we could run out of inventory space. That sucks. Goddamn, making sure they're dead.
Captain! Take them.
I like their armor. They kind of remind me of the judges from Final Fantasy
none
XII,
escape.
but
As you
way less
command.
elaborate. I guess more practical in that sense.
You take care of that spellcaster. I'll keep
Way
the
ahead
others
of you.
occupied.
Shot him in the ass with a fireball. I guess he's not dead yet. Is that it? Was there another one? That was quick.
That's them done. Are you all right?
I'm fine. It's my father and Joshua I'm worried about. We should head back.
Oh shit, Dragon Knight.
Brave, look out!
May I have this dance?
Well, aren't you corny?
Imperial Dragoon.
And you are the shield who was blessed by the Phoenix. Not that it will save you!
Oh, and he attacks quick, Jesus.
Rosarian worm!
Yeah, he had a cool entrance. Kicking my ass, though. I don't appreciate it. Shit. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Stay still, damn you!
All right. Showing off them Dragon Knight skills. So, I mean, in a lot of Final Fantasy games, you have a lot of different classes. Dragon Knights, I think, were popularized in Final Fantasy IV. But they've got that high jumping ability. And they just kind of like jump in the air, go off screen for a while, and then they come back down. My favorite Dragon Knight, of course, has got to be Freya in Final Fantasy IX. Ain't no one better.
I'll be fine now.
Covers damn fast.
He's open! Now, Clive! Have at it!
You're going to regret that, boy.
Oh, it's a double jump. Yeah, I probably should have read that prompt.
Take this!
And, you know, like, registered it. Gotta love the edge. Try that stone skin tonic.
Your time is past!
I'll be fine now.
Those are my last words. I'll be fine now. What the hell is that trophy? Shift! Okay.
To San Rag.
All right, that was a cool battle. Got a little intense. Lost a bit of health.
Are you
Ease
hurt?
up, Clive.
I'm fine.
Take a potion. You deserve it.
So, they sent in the Dragoons. Imperial vipers. Do they really mean to invade us?
Not yet.
Yeah, we should be able to strip their armor,
Numbers
huh?
are too few.
Although, I must say, this guy is
They were not here
huge.
to take the castle.
So it probably wouldn't fit.
They were here to take heads. Our work is done. We should return to my father.
My lord, look. We issued these sashes but yesterday. In Rosalith. If they were already among us, what if there were others?
Father and Joshua are in danger.
We must hurry. Take your steed.
They were among us? That's what happens. Didn't I kill you? Wait, I don't know if I could read lips, but it looked like he said, "Go fuck you." Maybe not.
Morgul, you're all right. Thank goodness.
Your Grace, is everyone safe?
For the moment. We ride for Roslith to rally our forces. I will need your help to see Joshua safely back to the capital. On you get, Joshua.
Father?
I'm sorry, Your Grace, but that won't be possible.
Oh, the owl.
You honorless snakes!
Stay back! I'm warning you!
Run, Joshua, run! No!
Traitors! Your Highness!
You must do your duty too. You have to keep Father safe.
I have to. I had to. Clive,
I'm counting on you, Joshua.
Oh, fuck.
I was joking earlier. I'm surprised they actually dropped an F-bomb in a Final Fantasy game. First time I've seen it. Well, you know, outside of the censored stuff from Final Fantasy VII.
Phoenix. The Phoenix!
Joshua! Lord Murdoch! His Highness! Joshua! Stop this!
Can't recognize
He's
friend or
lost
foe.
control. I have to do something. I have to save him.
No, my lord! Fall back!
Clive!
Thereabouts, yeah. They call them icons in this game.
You saved my life.
Damn. Rip white chocobo.
Get her on her feet and run. Please. Joshua, are you in pain?
Not now. Come on! You're his shield. Do your duty. Save him.
My lord?
What in the name of...
It's the man on fire from Phantom Pain. Yeah, it looks like it's Ifrit. We saw them at the beginning of the game.
Fire. But that's impossible.
Oh, what? We can't have two summons with fire element? Alright, so this is what we saw at the very beginning of the game. This Clive was just reliving the past. Of course, we were playing as the Phoenix. I don't know if we're going to be playing as Ifrit now. Embodying the Phoenix, following commands are available when playing as Phoenix. Fire, aim, and evade. When your opponent is directly within your sights, target circle will expand. That is the time to fire. This is weird. Reminds me of, I tried to evade. What the hell does it remind me of? Panzer Dragoon Orta. That's what it reminds me of. Or just Panzer Dragoon. I guess I never played the one on the Saturn though. I couldn't dodge that one. What the hell that means, but a lot of shit going on. I think I'm gonna die. That's a damn shame now, isn't it? Can't even keep track of where he is. Getting Sasuke vibes from the character anyway. Makes sense now.
I have to save them!
Everybody's going a little bit mad. I don't know how effective firing firebolts at a fire-based icon is going to work, but you know, old adage, fight fire with fire. Wasn't precision evade, but evasion regardless. Also, I see that they spent most of the money for the soundtrack on the chorus and not necessarily the instrumentation. Because they're still using synth instruments, but the chorus is definitely live. Unless it's like AI or something, I don't know. Oh, the music's been great so far. I'm just slightly disappointed that they use synth instruments, but I'll get over it. But the compositions have been great. That's it. Take it to him, kid. I like that subtitle. Angry Shout. Reminds me of Stranger of Paradise when you put on the subtitles. I remember one of them for Jack was Long, Hideous Scream. Or was it Growl? I think it was Long, Hideous Growl. It's a good thing these are tracking shots, because I can't hit this guy for shit. Oh, I could definitely tell when something's a synth instrument. Like I said, nowadays they've gotten better to the point where it's harder to detect synth instruments from live instruments, but for whatever reason they're using like the old tinny sounding synth instruments from like the mid 2000s. I remember when that used to be a thing. Like when soundtracks first started using synth instrumentations, I hated it. I could especially tell when it was like replicating, I don't know, like popular orchestrated music. For instance, take the Star Wars series. Oh, we vanquished it. But like, I think one of the first times I noticed it was maybe because you had a lot of games coming out at that time, about 2000 through 2002, when like Episode 2 was coming out. And for the most part, a lot of games were using the film soundtracks, and you could tell when it was the actual film soundtracks. You know, London Symphony Orchestra, John Williams composing, and I think I remember with Rogue Leader, in particular on the GameCube, it was like they didn't use the movie soundtracks, but instead they had used a synth orchestra to replicate the movie soundtracks. I guess probably because it looped better. You could probably loop a song better, you know, if you sort of like compose it yourself. But you know, you could tell with like the weird synthetic band that they use. Just there's like this weird tinny like sound to it that sounds off, and it's grating on my ears. I'm a big fan of music in general. I mean, I'm not like a huge music nut, but I listen to music a lot, and video game soundtracks, movie soundtracks, and, you know, obviously just like various bands. Spotify is on for like 5 hours a day at least for me. It's because I need it to like do work for the most part. If I'm ever working on something, I have to have some music playing, otherwise it's hard for me to focus. Rip that guy. Joshua was highly motivated, it seems. He's taking the role as the Phoenix seriously. One more shot in. Okay, never mind. Oh God.
Murderer. I'll kill you! I'll fucking kill you!
I don't know how I feel about cursing in Final Fantasy. I feel like we should maybe stave away from that. Yeah, that's what it looked like. It's like a nuke went off. Castle still seems to be somewhat intact, though, surprisingly.
Quite a mess that monster made. Damn shame about the Phoenix, but can't be helped. Oh, my condolences, Your Grace. Is there aught we can do?
Aught. It's like I'm playing Dragon's
Haven't
Dogma.
you done enough, Captain?
Oh, it was her.
Joshua was my world. And now he is gone.
I figured as much.
I can
Kinda.
only pray there will be a place for me in the world his radiance seeks to create.
I see. Your Grace, over here.
Yeah, she seems so sad.
The rubble must have protected him from the worst of the flames. Shall we take him prisoner?
No need for that. Kill him. Wait. As my husband never tired of telling me, he is a fine soldier. I'm sure he would make an excellent addition to the Imperial front line. All in its right place.
Okay.
Take this one.
But why? What did they do?
Chin up, lad. You're going to be a soldier.
Yay.
Joshua.
Hell of an intro. Hey, there are the emblems. I was looking at the cover and I'm like, there's like no emblem behind the Final Fantasy title. So I was wondering, what could it be? So I guess it's the Ifrit versus the Phoenix. But you only get to see it in game. It's like the emblem behind the title usually has something like a main plot point with the story. Final Fantasy X, it's Yuna. Final Fantasy, let me think, what is it? I can't think of what it is with 12, but Final Fantasy X is Yuna, and I think it's an Aeon. Maybe. I don't know. I think she's doing the dance, and then I think it's an Aeon. Final Fantasy IX is a Crystal. Final Fantasy VIII is Squall and Renoa. Final Fantasy VII is the Meteor. That might be it. I don't think I can think of the others. But, yeah, usually they have a main plot point tied to them.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Sorry. What's our situation? Let's just say Shiva and Titan's little spat hasn't made things any easier.
And? It's as you thought. The Crusaders have sounded the retreat.
Oh, nice mustache.
Then we follow.
We're down a man, Sergeant.
If we return without Shiva's head, our fate will be no different from Biast's. I'll take my chances with the Iron.
My goodness, we got a raid.
Then I might die fighting.
Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced 2 is teacher grounding the student.
You do.
Sounds funny, but I don't think I can picture it. I don't remember what it is. Thank you guys for the raid. I appreciate that. Mr. Scoob, how are you doing if you're in here? I know it takes a sec to get in. Usually takes me a minute before I can get into the chats after raiding too. I remember the days when it would take you right to the channel, even if you were in the streamer view mode. Can't do that anymore. Kind of sucks.
I won't be dying. Not today.
Then it's settled. No dying.
Hey, how's it going,
If you
Lyra?
don't mind, we have an army to chase.
Good to see you. How you doing? Awoken. A chance encounter. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 is a DS game where the protagonist opens a magic book that gets him into the Final Fantasy dimension. That was kind of like how it was with the first Advance. I never played Tactics Advanced 2, though. I only played the first one. What's going on, Scoob? Good to see you. I appreciate that raid. Just woke up. Been playing for 5 hours. Well, like 2.5 to close to 3 of those hours we were finishing up Last of Us. So I've only been playing for about a couple hours, I think. So far it's pretty good though. I'm enjoying the gameplay.
To kill something that can do this.
They don't. Only the girl holding its leash.
There is a lot of lore and a lot of story. I'm marathoning for 20 more hours. Good lord. Well, I ain't got nothing going on tomorrow morning, so, I mean, I could potentially, but I don't think I will. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2 is good with classes. A lot of colorful mages, card thrower class. Yeah, I've always appreciated the tactics games. I've always wanted to go back and play the original Final Fantasy Tactics on PlayStation.
The old trails are gone.
I remember playing that as a kid, and I just could not do it. I remember having to use a Game Shark to beat it. Story's excellent so far. Gonna lurk and eat. All right, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you raiding. Thank you, raiders, for dropping in. And thank you, Scoob, for that raid. And the lurk. Have a good meal. But yeah, the story so far very dense. There's a lot of things going on and a lot of lore. And as I pointed out earlier in the stream, there's even this special function that you can pull up where if you don't know the active time lore button, or if you don't know who the hell these people are or what's going on, you can pull up information. Like, who are the bastards? It's a unit of Imperial Army assassins tasked with taking the head of the Iron Kingdom's dominant, Warden of Ice and vessel for the icon Shiva. All of its members, including leader Tiamat, are bearers, branded men pressed into servitude for their ability to wield magic. And there you go, now we know. It would be nice if they had disclosed that to us via some form of dialogue, but can't always do it. As long as there's not like main character connections and plot points that are strictly divulged through menus, I guess I'm fine with it. Because they did that in Final Fantasy XIII, and that just pissed me off. But at least it's pertinent to whatever's going on. You don't have to dig for it.
Friends. Where are the rest of them? That can't be the main host.
Wait.
What? Petra!
Our fortunes have turned, Sergeant. It's her.
Yeah, she stands out.
Are you certain? The Crystalline Orthodox is a backwards faith for a backwards people. In the Iron Kingdom, they teach that dominants are unclean aberrations, born of blackest sin. Only their priests are allowed to perform the rites of priming, and I see many.
We end this quickly.
Schreischgott! Adionir Sagarid! Drach!
Please.
Jada! Lost the Isle!
What yeah, what are the backwards people? They only do things backwards. They walk backwards, they eat backwards, talk backwards. I don't know what the hell they're saying. Also, the one in the middle looks like he really hates chaos. Oh, if only. The one with the mustache looks like, I can't think of the actor's name. He looks like Wesley from Princess Bride.
Let this be the end.
What? We fighting?
Avis, care to kill some iron blood?
Gladly.
Wyvern, you focus on the target.
Understood.
Tifa with a rapier appears. A little fancier. I'll melt that ice, I'll have you know. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that was bad timing. Oh, man, I cannot get the timing right on this. Ooh. Getting hit with that big magic. It's like every time I get into attack or do something, magic spell, whatever it is, she then like rebuffs it with a counter. Gotcha. I appreciate that, Vale. I understand. Spoilers and all. I get you.
Not this time.
That sucks, though. I'm sorry to hear that. Backordered until July 5th. That's crazy. I was a little surprised I got mine as early as I did. I got mine like around noon today while I was at work, so. But yeah, I too appreciate the idea of a physical copy, so. Maybe we should more stick around for that one.
Fucking icons.
Calm down.
She's not even fully primed.
A lot of cursing in this game. No, maybe not a lot, but more so than I've heard in the Final Fantasy games since all the censored words in Final Fantasy VII. You even count that. Stagger feature in this isn't like the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Combat feels more responsive than Final Fantasy VII Remake, but yeah, it still retains a stagger gauge of sorts, so. It's like the perfect combination of Dragon's Dogma and, I don't know, something edgy. Game of Thrones. She's got a lot of magic attacks. Apparently you can do some pretty crazy stuff, though. I remember seeing the gameplay originally for this game. And, holy shit, looks like a Devil May Cry game. But so far, they're not quite as responsive as Devil May Cry, but it's definitely, it feels a lot better to play than Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because I didn't even really mind Final Fantasy VII Remake's gameplay, but there was something weird about it.
Just what I needed.
I forget she goes for 2 of those. Evilise game. Evilise was a nice world, but I guess they've spent a handful of games there already with the Advanced series and the DS game and 12 and all that, but still. It'd be kind of cool to have a more action-oriented Final Fantasy that kind of has that. Also, he's a slow learner. My brother's Christmas gift, birthday gift last year, pre-ordered a month in advance. Get here a month late, so you don't pre-order off of Amazon anymore. That's crazy. Well, the thing is, I think I have a distribution center near me, so I think that might be part of it. I think if you live near a distribution center, you probably get your orders in like super quick. Because I pre-ordered off of Amazon. No, and granted, I pre-ordered like a day before release. I think I pre-ordered this on Tuesday, and it had the midnight release for Wednesday. But you know, I pre-ordered it. They gave me the $1.99 trial of Amazon Prime, and I didn't have to pay shipping unless you count that $1.99 I spent. So ended up getting it, like I said, noon earlier. Well, I guess technically yesterday, but it worked out okay for me. But like I said, I do have a distribution center kind of near the area, so I think that might be part of it. If you live kind of far away from one, it might not be so great. Also, Perfect Fine game's out already. Just on pre-order there. Love the MC Battlefield. This game, played the demo, so you know the general feel of it. I appreciate the more action-oriented gameplay, and I feel like Square's been trying to like capture that action-oriented feel for a while now. They've been wanting to make the games. They've been trying to steer away, you know, from the turn-based for a long time. I mean, I guess you could count 12, but like 13 was supposed to like speed up the gameplay. And while I like the general gameplay of 13, just like the rest of the game sucks, so it doesn't work out so great. And I feel like the gameplay is also fairly shallow with 13, so it does tend to get boring after a while. But, you know, then comes 15, and they try to do something a little bit more action-based. Definitely has a different feel from 13. 13 still kind of retained that sort of turn-based feel. 15 didn't, but also didn't quite feel like you were in control of your actions. And then you finally get to about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's like a lot more responsive. But like I said, there's something about it, something about that gameplay that just doesn't feel like 100% like a clear-cut action game. And I think with this one that we finally kind of reached that point. Oh, you're the one person that liked 13. Okay, so I have met someone. We were just talking about that. And I think my exact words were, I don't think I've ever met anybody that really liked Final Fantasy 13. It's usually like, it was all right, or, God, that game was awful.
Well, what are you waiting for?
All right, Valkyria, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate that sub earlier as well, so you have a good night. Hopefully see you around soon-ish.
No, that's not you. Not here.
I'll bloody do it then.
Fuck. That's all you have to say about that, huh? Like I got pasted.
Wyvern.
What the hell are you doing?
Just gonna let him walk off.
Get your ass over here and help me with these bastards!
I'm sorry, Jill.
Oh, okay. There you go.
What is wrong with you, Wyvern?
Dominant. I know her. Know her!
Look around you! Do you think any of these animals care? I need you here!
You look lonely over here. You didn't like how you had to grind materials versus get gil. Actually, most of the characters. You like most of the characters and the C concept, but truly 13.2 and 13.3 were awesome. Can tolerate 13. Yeah. Okay. So that was like the exact opposite. Well, I also I think I like the story and the Lassie concept, and you know, breaking free from the control that they exerted over the people. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Now that that's done, I won't ask you again, Wyvern.
You're fighting me?
Take her head so we can be done with this.
But I did not like the characters.
I can't. I won't.
You would betray the Holy Empire?
Betray? I don't recall ever pledging allegiance to your Emperor. My service may have been bought with this brand, but not my loyalty. I just fight to survive.
And you think I don't? The Empire will have our
We get that boss
heads
battle
if we
music
return
again.
empty-handed. So if you won't take hers, I'll have to take yours.
I told you, Sergeant. I'm not dying here today. And neither is she.
Let's find out.
But yeah, with Lightning, I felt like they tried to play her a little bit too strong, but she ended up kind of being a shallow character. I felt some of the characters were annoying, like Hope, I remember being very annoyed by. I like Zaz. Zaz was a fun character, but there was the whole thing with his son, and then like Nagat and all them. It's like a lot of that was kind of like unexplained, so I felt like he had a lot of character development that was just kind of left by the wayside. Snow was super oblivious, and while that was kind of fun in some instances, I also felt like it got kind of annoying. Like he'd straighten up and fly right in a couple occasions, but mostly at the end.
Who gave you a name when you had none?
But for the most part, he was kind of like a little bit too aloof. And then Fang and Vanille were okay, but not my favorites.
Still clinging to the past like a torn blanket. Then you will die, as you should have 13 years ago.
Oh, say what now? Strong words for a man getting his ass beat. Like trying to trigger timeline deal 13-2. Yeah, I also like the. I'm a sucker for anything that's like time travel related, so I enjoyed that aspect of 13-2. 13-3 I've never played though, so I don't know what they did with that one. I hear the gameplay was alright, but I guess I wouldn't know.
Not this time.
How many combos this guy's gonna be doing? Lightning basically made a female cloud. She knows you too, like Snow, but Hope could burn. It's just the fact that he held that grudge for so long. I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's just like it's kind of annoying. And I don't think I found Lightning annoying per se, but I did think she was a bit of a shallow character. So, I mean, for your main character, probably shouldn't be as, two-dimensional. Hope was a damn essence of emo. Yeah, I very much didn't like him. I found it hard to like him in 13-2 when he came back, but he had a much more presentable demeanor, so I kind of warmed up to him in that game. Not in that first one, though. Oh no, they're back. You just keep killing these guys, but they keep coming. Bunch of post-apocalyptic raiders. New icon, maybe? Rama? Is he coming in here? Oh. Oh. I thought it was just the dog for a second.
This way.
What the hell are you? Sid! Oh, Sid. It's Sid! I know Sid.
Well, come on then.
Fuck. Fuck.
Sid kind of sounds like Ralph Ineson. But we've only heard him speak 2 lines, so, I mean, it could just be someone that sounds vaguely like him. He's got that weird pitch, though.
Hugo, dear, my proud desert lion. Would that you had taken care when chasing the hare? I expected more from the mighty Titan. You put the Ice Queen on her back, no doubt. But you'll have to work harder if you're to claim this prize.
My lady, the thunder.
We'll be hearing more soon enough. You always were a fucking snake, Sid. Gather the men. We have work to do.
Jill. Is it really you?
Dog.
And who's this fine hound I see before me?
A fine hound who saved your life. That's who.
That's gotta be Ralph Ineson.
Torgal.
No one else has that voice.
His name is Torgal.
You two acquainted? Well then, you won't mind taking him off my hands. Funny. I'd always pictured you as more the chocobo type. Clive Rosfield. Come now. Fleet as flame, fierce as a wildfire. That there was the blessing of the Phoenix. I'd heard rumors that you'd survived, but I never paid them much heed. Calm down. I didn't come all this way for your handsome mug. Now her, on the other hand, she seemed worth muddying my boots for. None the worse for wear. Still, might be best to get a second opinion. Back her up.
Not another step. I mean it.
Not the voice I was expecting to come out of that guy.
Well, I'm not about to leave her here. Not one with a warm bed waiting. It's all right. You're welcome to join us. You do want to help her, don't you?
Sid, if we aren't back soon, Nan'll have our heads.
explain everything once we're back at the hideaway. Come on.
Alright. Interesting little turn of events so far. What's this hideaway? Oh, just the hideaway. I thought they might have something else for it. Oops. Not the button I meant to press. Central Storm. Now remember, the kingdom is named Storm, not an actual storm. The Deadlands.
Not much further now.
But we're in the middle of the Deadlands.
Keen eye, you. The Blight sucked this place dry. Meaning no trees, no birds, and no magic. But it also means no neighbors.
The last place anyone would think to look.
Home sweet home.
It's a rock. Oh, maybe there's a cave. Still technically a rock, though. Fancy looking digs. Hey, a Moogle. For some reason I didn't expect to see one.
These are fallen ruins.
Well, we didn't think they'd mind. And it keeps the black from our lungs.
But how do you survive without magic?
How does anyone? Hard work and a bit of nerve. You must be starving. We grow them here, believe it or not. Suit yourself.
You're back.
Ah, Talia.
And this is the Dominant.
Out cold since we found her. I was hoping you might give her a look over.
All right. Goots, get her upstairs.
But none will...
Don't fret about Karen. I've taken care of her fee.
All of it?
She's the best healer this side of the belt. You've nothing to worry about. Go on, have a look around. I'll be in my solar.
Hide away. Local map. I guess that's used for more than just the thing. The lore section. There's a fat chocobo somewhere, or maybe that's the name of a. I'm literally picturing a fat chocobo. I mean, you know, it's not unheard of. Might be a shop or something though. Alrighty then, let's take a look. See a save or something here. We actually haven't made a save yet. How long have we been playing for? About 3 hours, something like that. Yeah. All right. Or is that the time of day? No, it's 3:19. Well, whatever. Actually, I can take a look at the recording. Oh yeah, it's been about 3 hours. 2 hours, 50 minutes. I think I'm gonna end it here though. I'm curious about it. I think if I stream tomorrow, we'll definitely come back with this. This is one of those things where I don't know. This isn't your typical Final Fantasy. I don't really feel like committing to like a 50, 60 hour game if it is, you know, the same length as other Final Fantasies. So far, it's been kind of on rails. We'll see if it opens up a little bit. They did talk about like doing quests and stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be some side materials or something that we could get down to. probably increase the length of the game time. But maybe I could do stuff like that if there are little side quests on my own time. I don't know. But I think I'd like to take another peek at this. So we'll see it pop back up on stream. Gonna be streaming as soon as tomorrow, or I guess later tonight, as the case may be. I appreciate it, Vale. You have a great night as well, and everybody that came in on Scoob's raid, you guys take care. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody I know is currently streaming. So unless somebody's got a suggestion or something, we're just going to have to end it here, which, you know, it's kind of sad, but it is super late, so that's just how it be sometimes. But anyway, thank you guys for watching tonight. Thank you for the raid, Scoob, again. Thank you, Valkyria, for the sub. Thank you, 8Jams, for the follow earlier. And, yeah. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Yeah, sometimes I reload the page and see that, like, someone else has popped up, but I don't think I see anything. All right, I think we'll end it here. But you guys take care. See you next time.